Hey everybody, it's Zweihander here, and I am doing my first video game review under the Zweihander handle. Zweihander handle, that sounded weird to say, didn't it? Anyway, this is going to be more of a relaxed review of Gran Turismo 7. I wanted to start off by recapping what Gran Turismo is and my experience with them so far. When I was a kid, back when I was like 5, 6 years old, I had a friend that had those PlayStation demo discs that you would put in a PlayStation 1, and it would have like Crash Bandicoot, it'd have Spyro on the game, it would have all sorts of stuff. I'm just going to go over a little bit, kind of this way. And Gran Turismo was one of the games, and I really love racing games. It was just something I like playing, and I played it a lot. I thought the graphics looked, pretty good for PlayStation 1. I mean, compared to a lot of the other games on the disc, I thought it was real sharp. The music was real interesting, and it was just a serious car racing game. And, that kind of led me to wanting a PlayStation of my own. And one Christmas, I got a PlayStation 2, and once I got that, one of the first games I got was NASCAR Thunder 2002. And I raced that game up and down. I did the career mode. I did everything I could on that game. And I decided to try some other racing games out there. Like when we had the video rentals, you could get like a free game. And so while my parents would get the movies, I would get the game. And I tried some other racing games, and they're all just kind of easy. So one day, I was at the game store and decided to get a. I asked the guy at the game store. He's like, "Well, what kind of game you look for?" I told him I was like a racing game, and he's like, "Well, what kind of racing games do you play?" I kind of told him, like NASCAR and I think Midnight Club. I played a little bit of that. What else did I play? I'm not really sure, but after a while, he's like, "You know what? I think I got the racing game for you. It's real cheap right now. It's real serious." So he gave me a copy of Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. When I put that game in the PlayStation 2, for whatever reason, the graphics felt realistic to me. I couldn't find a game with much better graphics if I tried. And the gameplay was real deep. The soundtrack, I listened to quite a few of those songs even today. And it was just, to me, like a real authentic racing experience. You got your licenses, you learn the ins and outs of how to be a better racer in terms of a gamer, and it was real deep. And then eventually Gran Turismo 4 came out. I got that one, and again, it was just another step up visually with more to do. And over the years, I'm not sure if I got 5 or not. It seems like I did get one of them on PlayStation 3. And I just can't remember if I did or not. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't been... I don't remember it very well. I guess it wasn't memorable. And then they had GT Sport on PS4. I didn't play that one. But Gran Turismo 7, when I got a PlayStation 5 gifted to me by my family, it came with a $70 code, so you can get a game with it. And I pretty much got the pick, and I was on the store debating, what do I want to get? I saw Gran Turismo 7, and I was like, I almost have to get it. It's just, I know I would like it, and that's why I'm doing this review for the game. So it was it's a pretty good game. Just to start off, just to preface this, I think it's a great game. But I'm about to kind of go into the ins and the outs and the whys. And also, you can kind of see below that I recorded a couple of races for you guys. And I'm kind of showing you what it looks like. And you can kind of see me struggle at certain tracks, certain corners. I didn't really do too good on these 2 races because I bumped the difficulty up for you guys. And, yeah. Other than that, I'm going to do a jump cut real quick. I got to go... take a pause, and then we'll get to reviewing this game and breaking it down. Let's talk a little bit about Gran Turismo 7, the game that you see below. So, one thing about it, As you can see, the graphics are beautiful. Top notch. I've tried both the PS4 and PS5 versions just to kind of see how they both look. They both look great, but the PS5 to me is just top notch. I've tried the quality version, which is the best resolution at 30 frames, and it looks great. But just my preference when I'm doing racing games, I like the smooth frame rate just because of the action and the smoothness of it. I just prefer that. And anytime I go to play Forza or games like that, I'll set it to 60 or Call of Duty, like any kind of action-oriented games. Now, the controller, the new features of the DualSense controller are awesome. The triggers are like, your accelerator and your brake, and the tension in them. The more you use them, it simulates an actual, like you're actually driving a vehicle. Like they tense up and then they loosen up. I mean, it's just so cool doing that. And like if you're driving on an old track like Nürburgring in Germany, like all the rumps and humps, I guess, of the road and stuff like that, you can kind of feel it in the controller. It kind of shakes, not like just crazy like the old controllers, but just kind of a nice, you feel it. You feel every bump you hit. And a lot of people I see online, they kind of bitch about the DualSense and its low battery life, but I mean, think of what all the controller's doing. It's putting stuff through the speaker. It's got lights on it. It's like rumbling to kind of simulate the senses, and then the triggers have the feedback. I mean, come on. I mean, that's going to use battery. What do you expect? And you'd be dead wrong if you think that the AA battery like the Xbox controller is not going to drain fast either. It will. But that's kind of the price of having these controllers with all these new features, is like, yeah, it eats up battery life. So get some rechargeable batteries, or get your rechargeable controller. Get 2 of them. Plug them up. Keep one charged. Keep one going. I don't know. It's 2022. Think of something. Actually, no, I take that back. It's 2023. Think of something. So, other than that, the controls, the audio is great. It's just on the sound bar, you can kind of tell it what equipment you're using. Headphones with the bass boost or the sound bar. It's great. Now, the soundtrack, I don't really know many of those songs. It's like each Gran Turismo game. I know less and less of them, but I'm also getting older, so that might be part of it. But I like the soundtrack. I don't like it in the fact that I get copyright claims, but I do like it in the fact that it's another layer of audio, and it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not obnoxious to your racing. It just kind of plays on its own. It complements the engines and everything real well. Another thing I like about the Gran Turismo 7, like in terms of graphics and stuff, kind of going back to that real quick, is like the detail. Like you can kind of see, like the first race I do down there, I did it in the cockpit, so you can just kind of see, and that's how I prefer racing those games. Most racing games, I'm kind of zoomed out to where I'm looking at the ass end of the car and I'm doing the racing, but I really like the cockpits on like Forza Motorsport, Gran Turismo 7, those kind of games. Another thing, I think I can really beat all the features to death. I've tried a few of the online races and they were pretty good. I wreck everybody. I think it's funny. And yeah, it reflects badly on me, but it's fun. So, another thing too are the features of the game. So like when you go to the, it's almost like the main menu's kind of minimalistic. I can see like someone kind of getting overwhelmed. It's definitely not designed like the old Gran Turismo games where you have the arcade races, you have the career, you have the online. Like it's all kind of meshed together in one thing. So when you go to the main menu, it gives you 2 options. It's got World Map and it's got Music Rally. Now Music Rally's pretty cool. You're kind of driving a certain car around a track to music, and you have to hit the beat. Each gate has a beat, and it's like boom, boom, boom. It's cool. I didn't do it for the video for obvious reasons, but neat little feature. They add a new song, a new track every big update they put out every month or 2. It feels like just neat little feature, kind of play around with. But the world map is where everything happens. And the way your game works is that you go to the cafe and you get these menus. These menus are basically races. And It's basically, you're basically collecting cars, is what it is. This car collector's like, hey, I've got another menu for you. And like, let's say they're Subaru cars. And so like, you'll look at menu number like 15 and it'll say Subaru. And it wants you to get like one of all the top Subaru cars. Like it wants you to go get a Subaru rally car. It wants you to get like a Subaru WRX that you can race on the streets. And then like, it wants you to get a Subaru Forester just for the hell of it. And so like, you get put in these races and you have to finish in the top 3 to unlock the car. But once you do, the car gets added to your collection. So basically, you know, I saw a lot of the complaints. People were complaining about like how the cars cost a lot of money in the game. But the thing is, if you do the menus over and over and over, the races get progressively harder. You have more restrictions. It's a nice progression system. And it keeps feeding you cars to unlock, and a lot of times as soon as you unlock it, you can use that car on the next menu item and just kind of, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of your money other than just upgrading cars or buying the ones that you personally like. Now when I say money, I mean in-game. No, man, I would butcher that. I mean in-game money. I don't mean real money other than the $70 it costs to play the game. But other than that, it has different time trials you can do for various rewards and challenges. It kind of has a licensing system similar to the old Gran Turismo games, to where you go and take like a driver's test of sorts and do different challenges, and if you beat the times, you get a higher license, and then those licenses allow you to drive faster cars and be in more complex races. It's a nice progression. And with all that being said, you can still do the arcade races, but it's kind of tricky how to do a custom race. You have to you have to pick your car out of the garage, first of all. Secondly, you have to go to the world map. And then third, you have to pick which continent you're in. Then you have to pick whatever track you want to race at. Some tracks have different layouts, like Daytona. You can race the traditional oval Daytona 500 style, or you can race the road course that they do for the 24-hour race at Daytona. And then once you pick that track, you can either do preset races for the track, or you can customize your own. Once you finally can get to that, I love the options. You can change the time of day, change the weather, change how fast the fuel and the tires wear. And the more those custom races you do, you can really build you something nice. And control what cars are out there, how many there are. I mean, the options are almost endless, and that's one thing I loved about Forza. And Gran Turismo, of course, they do it just as well, if not better. So, you're kind of wondering, like, you're hearing all these great things from me about the game, but why is the review score so low on Metacritic? Well, the one big kicker about this game, now I knew this going in, so that's why I haven't brought it up, because I knew it going in and I was okay with it. But the one big kicker is that this game is online only. You have to have an internet connection. Go into your PlayStation in order just to get this game going and start some races. Well, it's like, why can't I race the custom races? I don't know. That's just the design choice they made. But if you think about it like this, you pretty much have the internet connection to do your license checks on your games anyway. Especially if you use PlayStation Plus. Let's say you got Demon Souls on PlayStation Plus, and you take your PlayStation with you to Nana's house in the middle of the woods for whatever reason. And, you know, you're plugging everything in. Alright, Nana, let me show you Demon Souls. So, you plug the console in and the game in. Of course, you don't have internet out in the woods, and it doesn't boot up, because it can't check online to see if you have PlayStation Plus. So a lot of games are like this anyway. That was the DRM issue that people raised holy hell about with the Xbox One. Little they know, they just kind of implemented it on the back end. But that's just how it works these days. But Gran Turismo really is connected online. They have a lot of cool optional races. They have daily challenges. You drive 26 miles and you get the roulette system. It's basically like a prize wheel, and I kid you not, I swear, every time I get a prize wheel ticket on Gran Turismo, you'll see like 5 or 6 options sprinkled around down at the bottom. you have like just a tiny, like 5 coins on one pile, where you have like hundreds of coins on this one. You might have like a Kia Soul over here, but then you have like some prototype car you've never seen that's like patrolling Area 51, like way over there. And so you spin the wheel, you could get any of this stuff, and I kid you not, 99% of the time you get the smallest item. So, you know, it's that loot boxy weird kind of mechanic that they kind of do, you know, like it's like the big house at the casino odds. But other than that, I haven't really spent any money on the game other than just to play it, like just to buy the game. So, and I've been able to play hours and hours and hours, and in fact, when I did my yearly recap, I had like 27 hours in the game. It was my most played game according to PlayStation, the few months I've had it, and I just felt like, of course, I was sitting there trying to get through the menus, but I'm not so sure they end. So, I just wanted to give it a good long play before I review it, especially since the game was widely critiqued, but that's why. It's the online features, and the fact that it's always online. They don't like that you can't go offline with it, but be honest, these days we're getting fiber optic up to everyone's houses these days, so you're going to be online. So, other than that, as you can tell over there, I love racing. So, of course, this is gosh, I can't say White Mojo Wolf approved anymore, can I? Is White Hander approved? So, yeah, I really love it. It's a great game, and should you buy it at $70? Yes, if you're a racing fan. If you're okay with the price and you want to play a good racing game, I'm sure it's even better with the wheel. I used to have one, but if you're just more of a casual gamer and racers aren't exactly your main thing, I still recommend the game. But, you know, I know how tough it is to find the $70 to play these games these days. And if the racing games aren't your main jam and you're just not itching to play it, maybe wait for a sale. I think it was for sale for $30 during Black Friday. Now that's a deal I would recommend, even for a more casual player. But, you know, if you like the racers and you want to try it while we're waiting on Forza Motorsport, no telling what's going to come out for the Xbox, go for it. But either way, that is my review of Gran Turismo 7. It's a great racer. It's one of the best out there. I play it almost every day still. In fact, I kind of want to go play it after this. So, other than that, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoy the review. Please leave a like, comment if you have any good memories about Gran Turismo. Spread the word, whatever you wish to do. Other than that, see you later.